If you are waiting for the government to come and build a hospital to save you, the chief, your people, you fail the people. It is nature. When you are drunk and you are driving, the possibility of dying is high.
When you're speaking about a man who will potentially become great, they go through character building, reading, listening to the right things, protecting their mind space. But the other thing as well, which is important, is pornography, drugs, sex and alcohol.
So I had a friend who was so much addicted to pornography, and if he doesn't get the opportunity to watch, mentally, he's not stable. Gradually, when you build yourself, you begin to have a core people who understands your vision and your directions.
How does a person become a Kobby Kyei? Welcome to another awesome episode of Connected Minds. Today, I'm going to have a conversation with someone who has done a lot of work with our zebra crossing rules in Ghana. Never as we have seen before. You're welcome to the show, Mr. Kobby Kyei.
Thank you so much.
Charlie, how's it going? You know, the way you look, right? You look like $50 billion, man.
Amen. Because if you want to be a billionaire, it starts from your mindset. And in trying to put everything out there, your look and the message you carry, your ideas will sort of put together and bring the worth that you deserve. Because, for instance, if you walk into a room or when you're walking, sometimes the way you actually look will convince someone that you're ready for the business. It shows how disciplined you are. So for me, I feel that it starts from the mindset, and again, making sure that I don't take anything for granted in what people see. Because guess what? We are in a world of perception. As we sit here, if you have eaten Gary Soakins, I have no idea about it. As we sit here, if I've eaten Tom Brown or Jollof, literally nobody has no idea. However, it will take me or you to say that I've eaten this food before people will be able to say, oh, okay, you ate this food. So I'm always careful about what I do in terms of even on my social media platforms. Because if you look bad and it goes viral that you look bad, you wouldn't have the opportunity to move into individually the houses of people or the homes, walk into homes to say that I never wore this dress. I never ate this food. I never said this. It was a mistake. You can't go to every home to convince them. So be extremely careful what you put out there, what you wear, so that you wouldn't find yourself wanting in going to every home or meeting every single individual.
And defending yourself.
To defend yourself, to say that I never said this. So for me, your look and what you put out is very important.
Yeah. Especially apart from that, what you say as well, because words once spoken cannot be taken back.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it can take you years to try to prove yourself to the same people that you said nonsense to. You know, I watch a lot of people on the internet. Since being in Ghana and trying to associate with people of my kind, you are very exemplary. You know, you're very different to the other people that you do the same sort of work with. Personally, there are certain people that I try not to associate with, but you bring about quality. And one of the things I loved was when we were doing our foundation work, you supported it as if it was your own. In fact, you sent me a message and you said, I'm going to do this.
Exactly.
You know,
because you actually had conversation that you want, I'll come and cover. But I said, no. Whilst the event is ongoing, I would love to be posting even before the original video comes out. You know?
Yeah, and I loved it. And I think that's a synergy. That's the thing about you. And that's why when you do your events, you get a lot of support as well because of the type of person you are. But then, how does a person become a Kobby Kyei? What has it taken?
So it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of values. It takes a lot of character, because I'm somebody that I take values very serious. Values in the way you talk, values in your friendship, values in the way you make your money, values in the movies you watch, values in the songs you listen. And all these are character process. Because guess what? You have to be self-disciplined to know that if you're going to watch a movie, you scrutinize the content of the movie. If you are going to listen to a music, you know that the music you're going to listen will have the tendency whether to propel your mindset or to destroy your mindset. So whilst I was growing up, I remember anytime I closed from school, there's this government school in our area. I remember carefully, junior high school, after school, I'll go and I'll be in one of the classrooms and I'll be praying to God that God, I want to be great. I want to be great. I want to make an impact. It was just recently that I remember that I used to do that. So it takes a lot of discipline and character to be like me. And guess what? When you are trying to show that side of you, not everybody will buy into it. And I understand perfectly. Because when I started blogging, I had a lot of people saying that it won't go anywhere. Like, this is not what the people want. And so I said, guess what? Probably I came to rescue some individuals that if I'm not able to accomplish that mission, I'll be questioned by God and nature. So why don't I stick to what I am supposed to do? So it takes a lot of discipline. I mean, because there are movies there are some movies I don't watch. There are some music I don't listen. If you sit in my car right now, or if you tap on my phone and go to AudioMac, my top 10, I'm listening to Dr. Mouse, like inspirational speakers, because the more I listen to them, the more, just like you are eating good food in your system, it makes you look good, your skin and all that. So why don't I also feed my mindset so that every move or step that I take, I move in the direction of a purpose? I listen more of jazz and classicals. You understand? So it takes a lot of discipline because when you sit down and say that, okay, the majority are moving towards this direction, and you sit down and say that, are they moving there because the place is noisy or there's something better happening? That's why I always give an example. I'm sorry. When you put feces like toilets at one side and you put perfume at one side, guess what? I'm asking you, where do you think houseflies will go? They'll go to where, obviously,
Yes,
where
of
the
course.
toilet is.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you are standing behind and you hear the houseflies making noise around the toilet, you might mistakenly think that where the noise is, that is where it is popping.
Wow.
By the time you get there, you notice that the houseflies are where the toilet is, but they've left where the perfume is. But the perfume is the quality. So don't mistake the noise as the quality. So when people are always making the noise, say, hey, the whole balloons, and then you see a chunk of people out there. But Obakono, by the time you move close to the venue, you notice that, I should have just taken my time. So it takes a lot of discipline and character, and also the habit of protecting your mind to stick in your pace. And it's one of my qualities. There are a lot of things will be trending on social media, and friends and families and peers will call me, Kobby, this thing is trending. I think that you get viewership. I mean, you get people, something which is silly. And I'll tell them, guess what? Let them post. But when it's time for them to view informative content, they'll come to my page. And that has been one of my signatures from day one. I moved to places and people tell me, Charlie, if I want to just laugh and listen to those silly news around, I know where to go. But when it's about informative, I come to you. And again, they were like, oh, you won't get followership. As we speak, I have like 600,000 plus Instagram followers. Facebook hasn't come, Twitter hasn't come. So gradually, when you build yourself, you begin to have a core people who understands your vision and your direction so that you move with them. Either than that, you always mistaken and follow what, because guess what? A lot of people are doing some silly things in their corner, their hearts and their soul and their minds are not happy. And we have a lot in the system. People, a lot of African youth have not been able to identify their purpose. They are living in the shadows of what people are doing. They are trying their hands on everything because everybody's doing it. Just like because of our system is crippled, somebody who was supposed to be a nurse has moved into the military.
Right.
And the person is in the military because of probably a political protocol. So a politician will come and call, oh, Auntie B, you supported me during 2020 election. There's a protocol. Your son, this military, you have to let her come. Meanwhile, her daughter is not willing and ready to be in the military. So the system has crippled. So I tell people that if the system cripples you and you move into the military, make sure that as time goes on, you find your feet and come back to where your purpose belongs. Or else you die without still not giving out your God-given talent and your purpose on earth.
Wow. So you see, there is hype and there's quality. Now, most of the time when you look at a seasoned businessman and women, and I give the example, let's say Jeff Bezos, he started from his garage, working out this business, working it out. It didn't come as a hype. It came as struggle until he got to this point of success. Now, there are also people that win lottery today. That's hype. They've got all the money, but no experience, no discipline, no understanding of what they carry.
No character.
So most people just lose it. So you get a lot of young people within the society where they come into money, but that money they've come into, they are not prepared for it. Like my boss usually says that, Derek, if you open your room today and you see $50 billion in cash, two things of one is going to happen. It's either you lose it all tomorrow or you faint and die. So we must be prepared for the wealth or the success that we want to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, this is also very profound because I was telling a friend that if I wake up one morning and someone should just dash me Range Rover, it will be difficult for me to pull it. Probably once in a blue moon. Because as we speak, looking at some of the investments I'm doing, I won't be able to take care of the car. Maintenance. Because I had a friend who had Range Rover and this Okada drivers went and he snatched one of the mirrors and he called Abu Soka and they said like 2 to 3K.
Whoa.
And if I look at what I am gradually building, the 3K could have just done a lot for me. So let me just move with the small car that I have. So a lot of people are in a confusion state whether to know that, how should I push forward to acquire the thing that I'm not ready? Can I maintain it? Because I grew up from Aguna Swedro, and literally, I mean, a lot of the young guys that I completed with, those were the days where people want to go into, the quote unquote, the soccer way and all that. A young boy like 18 years will build a mansion those days. And my friends, it's like, hey. And they were getting the hype and attention. Guess what? In 2023, they've sold all those houses because they couldn't maintain. It came at a point where they couldn't even acquire knowledge to protect that investment.
There you go. That's it.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if you go through the process and you get to a level where money is coming, trust me.
Yeah.
Automatically, because you went through the process, you know how to put one city here, how to put two city here. I was having a conversation with my mom a few weeks ago, and where people seems to give her pressure to say that your son is doing so well. I see your son on TV. Your son is everywhere, And my mom is someone who is very humble and try to live a very simple life. So the people expect my mom to always wear white lace anytime she steps out, like looking all clean and living in a mansion. Like, it doesn't. I call my mom, mommy. It doesn't work that way. Because I've been blogging for 6 years. The first 3 years was the probation stage for me. I wasn't getting paid. So I started getting paid in last 3 years.
Right.
And if I look at the things I've achieved within the 3 years, a lot of people even came, they've never done that. So just give me space. Let me go through the process. Because when I was growing up, you literally was telling myself and the rest of my siblings that, like, take it easy. Go through the process. God will provide. Now that you feel that my image is everywhere, so you want me to build a mansion out of nowhere, I can do that. So I always try to console my mom and my friends and my family around me that you know where I came from. Trust the process. We're going to win together.
You know an example I'm going to give. You know, recently, Despite bought a house for the sister in Kumasi.
Yes. Yamwase.
Right. And then I was just thinking to myself, I said, look at how many years we've known that Despite has been wealthy.
And he's now
doing it.
Exactly.
So sometimes we shouldn't allow family pressures or friendship pressures and social pressures push us into doing things that we are not prepared to do. Now, I want to touch on this topic because when you're speaking about a man who potentially become great, they go through character building, reading, listening to the right things, protecting their mind space. But the other thing as well, which is important, is pornography, drugs, sex and alcohol. Now, how do you think the youth today are operating when it comes to those things?
So we are in a world of audiovisuals. What you consume in your mind has the tendency of destroying who you are. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically, even physically. Now, I keep saying that the mind is very powerful. You know why? Because we have children in Ghana who don't have passport, who have not crossed borders to taste how accents of the Western sounds like. But because of cartoons, they literally sound like Western people. When you go to, you guys are watching, when you go to a lot of homes, those of the kids that have been watching Cartoon Networks, the kids are literally speaking like the whites. Hey, daddy, won't you get me this? The children have not traveled before, but because of always the accent that is coming from the characters in the cartoon, they are learning it. One came promises dance challenge. I be like, you see numerous children dancing to the dance challenge. Where do they see it? On TV. Do they pick up their parents' phone to check whether what they are watching is right or not? So that should tell you how information works on the mindset. So the mind is very powerful. Another example, which for me, per my personal research, every platform that I mount and I throw to them, 90% of them accept is a fact. And I don't know whether you agree with me though. But
I do.
Have you noticed that if there's a food, let's say ice kenke, is in a fridge, and nobody has told you, Derek, no, it's okay. You go to pick it, you eat, you drink it. You're all over the place. Hosting your podcast and everywhere. And then later they come to tell you, oh, Derek, the ice kenke you drank, that's fermented. It's spoiled. Why did you take it? You begin to fall sick.
Yes.
Your stomach, you have some funny feeling in your body. True or false?
It's true. I actually have an example. I'm a pharmacist, right? So medically,
okay, so now you can testify.
We do something called a placebo. So when we are testing medication, we'll probably take, let's say, paracetamol. Somebody that has a headache, right? We take paracetamol and then we take placebo. Placebo is basically sugar pills, nothing in there. And then we give it to sick people. So we give you this medication and say, this is paracetamol.
Okay.
It's going to help your headache. And then we tell you, this is another paracetamol. It's going to help your headache. And in some cases, the people who are the sugar pills, they say that their headaches went away.
Because in their mindset, it works.
Yes.
So that is how powerful the mind is.
Yes.
So I say to the glory of God, I hardly go to the hospital. You know why? Because I've been able to practice and use my mind. So anytime I'm sick, like this petty, like headache, and then I just shake it off. How? We're fine. And it goes off. And it should be a conscious. So that is the reason why some pastors use that as our weakness to the vulnerable. Because the pastor will tell you that if you don't have faith, what he is telling you will not go. So why don't you have faith yourself to believe that sickness will go? Even when you take water. So they'll tell you, drink water, it will go. I pray into the water. And they will drink the water and it will go.
Yes.
Do you get me?
There's a mental alchemy to that.
Yes. God knows the reason why. I think there's a part of the mind that we are not using it.
Yes. Well, I say, you can see behind you, I've got Plato there. And then I've got other, spiritual books behind and things like that. The God we search it was clear in the Bible that is in us.
And even apart from the biblical values, I think it has got to do with nature.
Right.
Let's even put God aside. Because for the benefit of the people who don't even believe in God, it is nature. When you are drunk and you are driving, the possibility of dying is high.
Of course.
You don't need God to tell you that because I just prayed, I just joined Alpha Hour, I'm drunk, I'm going home, so the God of Alpha Hour is going, you die.
Yes.
Or there's a truck coming, you say, I just joined Alpha Hour, so I'm crossing the road. It will knock you will die.
Yeah.
It is scientific, like it is nature.
Yeah.
So if you are addicted to pornography, you're addicted to things that we all know will not help. Know that the more you continue to watch all those contents and consume all those products, the end, you can't change nature. There's always effect to it. And if you watch documentaries about people who went through this process, they will tell you that the end was bad.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of people who masturbate. And it has health issues. Consequences and implications.
Mental
consequences.
Yeah. Which is even bigger than the health consequences.
Exactly. So I had a friend who was so much addicted to pornography, and like literally every day, if he doesn't get the opportunity to watch, mentally, he's not stable. And so just know that every information that you are feeding the mind, the things that you are doing, there's a part of the mind that is ready to have a continuity.
Yes. So in science, we call it the reward center, where whenever you do something, or the dopamine effect. So whenever you do something, that reward you get, the excitement you get out of it is registered in the mind. And anytime you're not doing it, it basically knocks at your consciousness.
Yes, it reminds you. Exactly.
Like, oh, that was nice.
Exactly.
That was nice. Get back and do it again. Now, the more you do it, the more you're going to do it. Like I say, look, if you don't ever want to start, let's say, if you're not a strong person who will be able to withstand the issues that addiction comes with, don't start. Like, don't start. Because I used to drink alcohol, not as much. I used to drink it like a big boy style, just a little bit. But 3 years ago, I said on the 1st of January, I said, "No, I'm not drinking again," and I haven't had alcohol.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it took you discipline.
Yes.
And you were just trying to make an example. Who even brought the whole idea of when you wake up in the morning, brush your teeth?
Whoa.
Who brought the idea of when you're going to sleep, brush your teeth? Who brought the idea that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing, pray? Who brought the idea that when you wake up in the morning, like take your shower? So when you give birth to a child and you train them that you wake up in the morning, you do this. So you subconsciously, consciously or unconsciously, it become part of you.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Because so the more you train your mind to a certain thing, it literally, so guess what, let me give you an example. Because I train myself that I want to push developmental and address social issues and stay positive, anytime those content which are sensationalism or sensational, when they are trending, nothing moves me. But anytime there's something developmental and issues around Ghana and Africa and they need somebody to speak up, like the energy and the zeal that gets myself involved. Like example, you're going to the rural area to do donation, health. I was so much interested. Even though I wasn't on the field, not me who did to me. I was like, no, Derek, just send me some content. I want to post even before they.
Yeah.
So I've been able to train myself, and it has affected the people around me. A lot of things will be trending, which are very like issues like rent in Ghana. Like something has happened, like a child who has who's had like a beautiful exam scores and is looking for schools to go, like my road safety. Anytime an accident, they need traffic lights has damaged, they need someone to advocate it. If I open my DM to you, I get those content often because they know that this is the person who can add his voice and will make sense. So when I speak to clients, I tell them that, you know what? You want to advertise this water. Now, you want to advertise this water. The quality, you say, it gives quality life, health. Now, you have given this to a blogger or influencer who doesn't command that influence that people believe that this water truly is good for the heart.
You haven't done your homework.
You know? The blogger has numbers, will post it, will get a lot of numbers like clickbait, engagement, and all that. But it will not translate into value of your money or the quality of how you want people to digest the information. But guess what? Probably I might not have those numbers or those heavy engagements. But anytime the client brings to me, they'll call me, Kobby, we apologize. We thought those who are everywhere are the one who will be able to promote this for us. However, the kind of audience you have, we are okay. We are getting the result. There's a brand that I work with, Caveman Watches. I'm wearing.
Right.
And Tony, he will go I still want to work with you. As I got here, they send me a contract, they want to renew, every day they want to work with me. It's not about the noise. It's about the quality and people knowing that this is what you represent. That's why I first told that your value is very important.
Yes.
So the mindset and your values, your character, how disciplined you are. So some churches, you're having a church convention or you're having an album listening, gospel album listening, and you go and send or invite bloggers who supposedly, post Sebi or Bitung any sign constantly on their page. They'll post your gospel album on their page. They'll get the viewership, but it will make an impact that you want.
A lot of the time, as a community, we have problems with social impact. So, for example, when we went out to do all the work that we're doing, one of the things we realized was that within the Eastern region, it has a higher rate of HIV. And there are a lot of people who have diabetes, hypertension, undiagnosed, and things like that. And the only way the government or the health authorities will get to know is to actually do social screening, mass screening, either at churches or funerals and places like that. Because most of the people who have those conditions don't walk into the hospitals. You need to actually pick them from the street and then give them the processes. Then they will come into the hospital to meet the doctor. How do you think that as a country or as a young person who's an advocate for these things, you can help to steer these things?
Thank you so much. So there's a saying that health is wealth. So I feel that in every serious country, when you go to America, when you go to Europe, because they are fast developed and so they've been able to solve the basic necessity, like roads, there are some things they've solved it. So in America and in Europe, one of the research that I did is that one of the key things that they use to vote against you is when you fill them with education and health. Because I doubt they'll do a demonstration about good roads. Industries. Probably they may even do it because they want more and more and more. But education and health there are two key things that the Western people, the voters, don't joke or play with. So when you come and you mess up with their health system, so that is the reason why during the COVID, a lot of presidents got attacked because they couldn't protect their people.
Right.
Because their people were dying. So they'll vote against you because when that crisis came, you couldn't handle it. Our president, Nanado, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, during that period of COVID, won so many hearts from the people outside Ghana because they felt like he was always coming to our homes, fellow Ghanaians, to address the issue.
He had the right words.
Exactly. So health is very important, Derek. education. Even before I come to health, look at our education system in Ghana. Education still plays a role in the mindset of the people. Illiteracy rates kills a nation. How does it kill a nation? When I come to you, you're uneducated, illiterate. I come to you and say that I'm giving you this water, vote for me. The possibility of you voting for me, unless you have God-given wisdom to know that, to deduce to say that, no, this is not right. But the probability of also convincing you is very high because you are thinking of poverty, illiteracy rate. So you might take 100 cedis and vote for me. But guess what? When a politician comes here and walks to you and say, Derek, I'm giving you a bag of rice to vote for me. Because of education, you've been able to acquire so much knowledge and putting so much dots together to conclude that you're thinking about your father, your mother, the aged, the sick. So that rice you're giving me, when I vote for you and you win, the possibility of destroying future generations is high. And it takes someone who is educated to reason to that level, or someone who has common sense. I move into rural communities. I can show you countless. When you watch the structure structure and buildings of in which they go there to study will blow your mind. I have a video that I went to one village in the central region that they are learning, and there are hens and cocks and sheep and in the classroom studying with these children. And you ask yourself, are these children going to write the same examination
as the people living in the people solid blocks
who are attending the Morning Star?
Right.
Now let's move to health. How do we make sure that we change the health facility and bring out good health to people? When the politician comes to you and say that vote for me, I feel that the chiefs, the authorities, our local authorities, have failed us as Ghanaians. Those days when we were growing up, you notice how powerful our chiefs were. You dare not tell the chief what to do. The chiefs were building community. The chiefs were building their township. So amongst them, they were lobbying amongst them, trying to invest among the people in the community. These days, the MP is more powerful than the chief. And so the MP will come and promise, go back, and doesn't come back again. So it is making the youth around think that everything must be done by the MP. No. It is about time that we as Ghanaian youths in the rural communities and in our towns, small towns, come together and think about the bigger picture. How those who are successful in the Western world or in Accra or Kumasi come together. The communal labor, we've lost them. If you are waiting for the government to come and build a hospital to save you, the chief, your people, you fail the people. That is why you are entitled to a lot of lands in that community or in that village. So now guess what? We are in a modern age. What you have to do is that you as the chief try and build. And I'm sure it still exists. People, they have the finance committee in the rural communities. When you go there right now and you say you want to meet the chiefs, they will tell you when you're doing the introduction, this is the finance committee chairman. This is the one chairman. This is one chairman. They are only relevant when the politician is coming to visit them. But why don't they come together as chiefs and authorities in their own small towns and villages, decide to say that, okay, you're the youth organizer in our small town. I want you to lobby and look for the people who are successful in Accra, who are from this village. What can we do to build a health center for the people? Because the conversation is that we are always attacking the people at the top.
Yes.
And they are also distributing amongst everybody, the entire nation. So before your people will die, before the pregnant woman will die, before that child will die, the president will not come and protect the water in your community. What do you have to do as a chief? That is the reason why I have problem with the chiefs who have helped the politicians destroy our water bodies in Ghana. So if, Derek, you are the chief of Kukurentumi, let me just say, and the water has been polluted by Galam, say, You have youth, vibrant youth in these communities. And you are telling me that you are allowing the water bodies to be destroyed. Whilst you know that children are drinking. I have photos. When I visited the Western region, I did a whole documentary on Galamsey. GTV played a lot of the TV stations. Captain Smart, Onia, they showed the whole video of how the water looks. And I had a conversation with some of the indigenous people, and I asked them, what is happening? They used to drink the water, they used to use it to wash, cook, but now as we speak, they are all destroyed.
They can't use it.
And the health consequences. So what is the chiefs? So now my point is that we as a people, the small communities must try to protect what they have. Again, to our top hierarchies. I mean, our president and the MPs and the DCs and the MCEs and the assemblymen, the government bodies who can, they have the higher power to disseminate information and also make sure that the health facilities in these communities are doing so well. Now, what can they do? I know I stand to correct, but I think we had compound chips.
Okay.
Where a lot of the communities had a small mini clinics where people can go. As we speak, some are doing well, some too.
It's gone.
It's gone. Left rotting in the bush. Probably even the roads that are leading to these facilities are dangerous. So when the politician is coming to you, when you are electing your chiefs or bringing the chiefs, want to crown a chief in your community, look at education and health. How can they be able to protect its citizens when it comes to their health? But you don't come joke around and you look at some of the money that is spent on some unnecessary things. You look at people dying in villages. And again, the personalities, when I say personalities, the health personnels that are being posted to some of these places because you have the facility. Now, when you are given the facility, you must also make sure you empower the people who you transfer to those facilities. Guess what? What are their living conditions? You have built health chips. Where people can come for healthcare, 100%. But you forgot to build a mini nursing quarters where those people can be. I went to Germany and they took me to a village, like when like a small town or village in Germany. But if you look at the health facility there,
solid.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So it is about time that we decentralize developments in places so that the pressure at Rage and Kwalebu will come down.
Yes.
That is why I really respected you when you said you were taking your health project to the villages.
Yeah.
And let me use this opportunity in our platform to also plead with NGOs that anytime you are coming from the diaspora or any persons or who wants to do charity a project with respect or regards to health, the pressure, Kwalebu and all these rich, they have enough support. Even though they themselves, they are lacking bed to sleep on. If Kwalebu and Rage are crying for bed for people to sleep on, you can imagine those in the rural communities. Let's try to turn our attention to those people.
Yes.
Because literally everyone, if not you, your parents, your grandmother, they came to Accra from the village.
Yes. That's where we're all from.
Yes.
That's where we're all from. And, I went back to the village because I'm a product of that village. And I think a lot of people are like that. Right? I think my great-grand-uncle, he was an educationist and an Africanist. And when he got the opportunity to work at University of Legon, he went back to the village to build an ICT department.
So you took from your granddad,
I think
so. To continue his legacy.
The legacy, right? So I think people who have come from villages and towns, who have gone into positions, should turn their eyes back to those villages and help out. Because if, for example, you're a nurse, you've got first-hand knowledge in, let's say, CPR, how to resuscitate a person who's got a cardiac arrest. Go back to the churches in your village, educate them on that, and give them the tools to be able to do it, just like you will. Asa?
And I think another institution that can also help is the churches.
Yeah.
The churches have the resources. The churches can collaborate with hospitals to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's something we're actually doing, which is interesting. So I spoke to one of my friends who has a church, and he has about 200 members. That's quite a big church. And I said, look, there's something that's been happening where a lot of young people are getting heart attacks these days. And that is happening because there is undiagnosed hypertension going on. So I want to train one or two of your people in the church. You don't have to be a nurse. I mean, checking BP and giving them the values and when it's a red flag, when they should refer to a hospital or a clinic, it's not rocket science. Anyone can do it. So I'm going to go to the church, give a talk on stroke, diabetes, hypertension, and then train one person on how to use the BP device and get it done every Sunday when they come. There's an office where you can call your clinic office. Just pass through and get it done.
Brilliant idea.
You know, and I think every church can do it. In fact, in the UK, the church I used to go to, KICC, anytime we have to the first event, there's an ambulance there in case of an emergency. And it was a requirement from the government.
And, you know, in our parts of the world, in Africa or in Ghana, the private schools provide first aid for the children.
Yeah.
They have their nursing, someone who is constantly there. But in our government schools, how many government schools have first aid available for the children? When I say government schools, I'm even talking about those in the rural communities. I went to Aguna Swedro and I was driving by and I saw a lot of Kufuor buses. I mean, quote unquote, those time. I mean, it was Kufuor who literally brought those style, so we call that Kufuor buses.
Right.
But I can metro buses. I saw a lot of metro buses packed, all of them damaged. And I made a little inquiry and I was told that some, probably some tiny parts, the tire, the engine, which can be solved. A lot packed. And I asked myself, I stand to be corrected, Derek. And those watching, I stand to be corrected. But myself, it is very hard for me to see buses dedicated for government school children to pick them in the morning and when they close from school. But these buses are packed. When you go to Tamale, the metro mass, a lot of...
They're completely useless.
Useless. A lot of... When you go to Kumasi, they've lined them up, destroyed. And a lot of government... I don't even talk about the private. Government school children who close from school and walk miles away in the rural communities in our towns, walk miles to school. By the time you get to school, you are sick and tired of even what your brains are supposed to consume. So it's a big problem that the youth of Ghana, and that's what Connected Minds we seek to achieve. Come together, have a conversation on how we can transform the mindset of the people. Because I came from the rural community and I have this platform. Every platform that we have, let's try and voice up. Guess what? This interview that we are having, or this conversation that we are having, we're going to document it and be on YouTube. And generations are going to watch it.
Yes.
How do you, if you want to see Kwame Nkrumah, some of the statements that he made on YouTube, you watch them.
Yeah.
You go like so. But it's not going to be an easy journey because your own circles will not understand your vision.
Yes.
Your own circles will try to bring you down because they are not seeing the bigger picture of what they're saying. But in the next like 20, 30 years, they'll come back to the same conversation.
Yes. Yes.
And it will be a reference point.
Yeah.
By that time, I'll be normal. But they will appreciate the fact that we added our voice, but the top hierarchy refused to listen to us.
And it's interesting you say that because I was just going to come to that you as an individual, the reason why you set yourself different is because you carved a niche for yourself. And that niche is blogging with style, advocacy, etiquette, philanthropy. All these things come into it. Now, somebody else is sitting around, right? Want to pick up a camera or want to start one business. How important is it to have a niche in any endeavor a person finds himself?
So I keep saying that your brand is the conversation people have about you when you're not in the room. Your identity is the conversation people have about you when you're not in the room. So, for instance, you're with your friends, you move out of the room, you're going to get something to buy. What they say about you is your identity, whether you like it or not, because they see it from the outside and they're with you. So, when I started, I told myself that apart from, and people should listen to this carefully, apart from my blog, which is my www.kobbykyei.com, which is one, apart from my Kobby.Kyei, Instagram, Twitter, apart from all these platforms, I need to build a persona. I need to build an identity for myself. Why? Because we can wake up one day and Facebook is no more. We can wake up one day and Instagram, probably if it is still exists, it's been transformed to a different diagram or algorithm to suit something. Because we were here when Elon Musk bought Twitter and now it's X. And now he's trying to manipulate and do a lot of things around. If it doesn't fit you, you can't fit in. So I told myself that I need to consciously do photo shoots. I need to consciously put myself out there. Now, what can I do? Not just putting myself out there. To do advocacy. To be part of conversations. To put values on myself. So that when social media is not there, there's a Kobby Kyei.
Wow, that's good.
What is my identity? What is what I represent? So a lot of people now who even know me, I have a group of people who don't even know the Kobby Kyei as the blogger. Kobby Kyei, who is always creating initiatives to solve problems. So I started the Go There with Kobby Kyei. And the Go There Kobby Kyei seeks to move into rural communities. So I'm going there. Go there with Kobby Kyei. Wherever the stories, I'm coming there. When I was growing up, and I used every platform to pick up GTV, because we watched, GTV was the only station when we were growing up. Later on, TV3 came and Metro and all that. GTV were giving us content. Content from, there are times where news from Navrungo, like the newscaster will come, from Equiapim. So it was a conscious effort to give us quality content. Going to the villages, going to the areas to tell stories. When I was watching GTV. So I told myself that this is so inspiring. When I grew up and I became a journalist, I think that I should do this. Journalism is about sharing the stories of the vulnerable so that it can be solved. That is the ethics. So I said no. So what I did was to move into rural communities. Number one, I have addressed the issue of water crisis in rural communities. Where as we speak, I can name a number of towns that have benefited, are now drinking clean water out of a story that I covered.
Wow.
So I went to one and they were sharing water with Mponko.
Or horses.
So the women are falling sick, the children, they go to fetch the water, get it home, boil it a bit. I've forgotten, they said they put some medicine, something in it.
Chlorine or something.
Yes, to dry, to separate the dirt from the clean water. And then they can drink before they go to school. The men there, they said, so one was telling me that the men, the husband doesn't bath at all, go to work. 2023, we are in 2024 and it's still happening. So I shared the story and I want to say a big shout out to Kojo Jones. Kojo Jones Foundation saw it, provided 3 boreholes for out of the story I did. Numerous provided 3 boreholes. This is an impact. This is the nature I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not just staying home, posting. This person has done that. This posting. No. I want to go beyond my territories. So a lot of communities have gotten water to drink out of the stories I've done. My recent project, which is the respect for zebra crossing.
I was going to talk about that. Yeah. Now go on.
People ask me like, how did you even, because it never even occurred to anybody. We've seen the lines, all right, but it has never occurred to us to respect zebra crossing or somebody advocating for people to respect zebra crossing.
No. Let me pause you for a second. I think 3 days ago, I was driving to Trazako. And on that road, just before the Stanbic bank on the right, there's a zebra crossing where there's sellers of fruit sellers. And as soon as I saw there, right, there was no car, and I saw a lady on the right, and I remembered Kobby Kyei. And as soon as I remembered, I stopped. Yeah, as soon as I remembered, I stopped.
Your guilty conscience.
And I said, no, Kobby.
The impact is crazy.
Yeah. No, it's big.
You know, so I had the same feedback with Bellamundi, with Kokiti, with Adita Kufu. Numerous. Now, when people see it, so guess what? The niche we're talking about.
Yeah.
100 years to come. There are documentation, pictures, videos, everywhere on social media. When every child or person sees zebra crossing, Kobby Kyei is attached to it now. Because nobody was looking at it. So I had to create that niche of development for myself. I've had the Norway ambassador out of her office, her comfort zone, brought her in the sun to direct people and educate drivers to respect zebra cross. The Norway ambassador brought the Italian ambassador, brought Nanama McBrown, Kofi Admaweni, Maya did videos for me. Sheldon also supported me.
Wow.
And the list goes on and on. Why would these personalities or ambassadors move from their comfort zone to come and join Kobby Kyei? Because of a niche that I brought for myself.
Yeah.
Because they believe that this guy stands for impact. And the awareness I've been able to create with this, nobody can take that away from me. I've been blogging for 6 years. But it looks as though I've been around for a long time.
It does.
It is not a hype. Sometimes I forget myself that I'm Kobby Kyei. Because literally, I'm not thinking of like I want people to know. No. I want people to know that this blogger came to Ghana out of nowhere, changed the narrative, and represented development in the minds of the people. Change is very important.
Sometimes, to be able to change, it needs to start at the lower level. Now, I say, if you get a 70-year-old woman and you're who has been frying egg the same way, and at the age of 70, you are trying to tell her to change the way she does, it will be a lot more difficult than a 16-year-old you're trying to train. So I always say that the top is probably already messed up. And me and you could potentially change people or start speaking to people from the early stage. That's why you mentioned education is very important. So people actually understand what are being taught. Now, the other thing I've seen in this country and a lot of countries is that the hierarchy, the pyramid scheme protects the people at the top. They don't want the lower ones to be educated to question them. You see what's been happening in the country of late? Now, whenever people are trying to rise against authority, authority doesn't like it. And for you to be able to keep people at that level, you have to keep them blind from the truth. So how are you going to make sure that the change that you want to instigate start from at the lower level?
So, glory be to God. I have images. I've taught a lot of schools. And these are not even high schools. Basic schools. I went to a lot of governments, basic schools, to educate them. And when I played, and I did this in collaboration with the Ghana Road Safety Authority.
Wow.
And they brought some images. It was sad. Images, because they have the cameras around, of images of how children are crossing the road and cars hitting them. Very deadly images, but we pleaded with the children just to be careful. And they watched. And we educated them that, no, you know what? When you're crossing the road with your mom, I know your mom wants to drag you. Let's go. But try and tell your mom, Mommy, can we wait and go and use the zebra crossing or
overpass?
The overpass.
Right.
And the mom or dad will be ashamed that, oh, my daughter or son is actually telling me to do the right thing. So it starts from the bottom, which I am doing.
Yeah.
You made a very solid point by saying that the top people always want to protect the people at the top and enjoy. They forget to come down. That's why the politician will not go back. They hardly, some of them will do, but some, majority don't go back because when they need the power, they come down to the people. You see them pounding fufu, you see them doing everything. But when they win the power, they will tell that they are busy. The point is that, have we all asked ourselves, in our constitution, you are supposed to retire at 60 because health, wise, emotionally, physically, you are drained, and so you don't have that capacity to even work at that institution. But we give power to 60-year-old plus people, which in factual sense, they are supposed to also retire.
Yeah.
If I work with, let's say, if I work at Cocoa Board and I am 60 plus and I'm supposed to go on retirement, they know the reason why they told me to go on retirement, because there are certain meetings I am weak, there are certain things I am weak to do. But you're going to govern a whole nation when you're 70 plus. You might have the wisdom and the knowledge, but trust me, your capacity, you fall short on a lot of things.
Wow. You will, indeed. So I've been through a lot of challenges in business. Now, I always say that when talent meets business, that's where money is made. So that's why a lot of talents have managers. And the job of the manager and the business managers are supposed to monetize the talent. In the process of, blogging, doing your philanthropy work, and all the things that you're doing, it is business. Now, what are some of the challenges that you have faced when looking at it as a business?
Thank you so much. So, looking at it at a business level, first of all, this is an advice to everybody. Anytime you are starting a business, which of course you're so passionate about, you will never get the monetary value as soon as possible. When you created this whole platform about podcasts, number one, I don't know, I wasn't on the same bed with you, but your first thoughts was the passion.
Yes, it still is.
The second one is what you can give back to people.
Yep.
The third one will be, how can the people love what I'm doing and I consume it? So it's a thought-provoking process. And then eventually you go like, yo, Charlie, you have to start, speaking to some businesses, people who can sponsor this podcast. Ideas are always important. So to relate it to my blogging, it was about passion all the time. A lot of people will tell me, Kobby, so in your direction, the way you always call yourself developmental blogger, always on the street directing, zebra crossing and helping villages. How are you going to feed your family? How are you going to get money? The money is literally not the one in the bank account, but the contact on my phone.
That's it. The network.
The network. If I pick up my phone, it's 3 billion. Because the ambassadors on my phone's crazy. Even before we continue, we're talking about zebra crossing.
Yeah.
So when I went to do the zebra crossing with the Norway ambassador, I was in France, so they sponsored me to go to Norway and Paris to look at how it works there.
Wow.
And I was just in Europe when the Norway ambassador tested me. A check is ready for you. Can you pick up? I'm going for holidays. Can you let any of your boys pick up? I want to construct one zebra crossing or a couple for schools. The ones close, you think you can do closer to schools? Oh, senior, this is worth more than you giving me 30 billion cedis.
Yeah.
So when I started, the idea was passion to go and stand on the street to do this. And then it moved to the next. Ambassadors joining me. And they moved to the next. I want to sponsor. Mark Brown joined me. He moved to the next. And I was like, So when you start your business and you think about how you can accumulate success in monetary value, you are lost. So the contact on my phone, so always I tell my workers, I tell them that, look, I won't pick up a phone to call Derek when I need 100 cedis. But if there's a project in a rural community and I call those big men, they can collaborate with me and trust me.
Together.
We'll do it together, and the money that will come out of it, you can't even spend it. As we speak now, I'm living in my means, small means, to impact society. I'm not even thinking about whether or not somebody will even pour money heavy. I'm not even thinking about that. The most important thing is, even though it's business, Derek, when you wake up in the morning, you get something to eat and you get where to sleep. Thank God, that's enough. Because the same way that we came empty, I'm not preaching, no. I don't want people to say that I'm preaching, because it's business, no. But sometimes, when you look at it from the face value, you want to rush for the money.
Yes.
But if you want to think about it in a more deeper way, you know that I don't know, you will never go hungry.
Right.
You look healthy. Because guess what? If I'm sick and I know Derek is in the medical space and something that will cost me millions of cedis to purchase and you can provide, is it not in exchange of that money?
Yes. Yes. Wow.
I've never traveled, and I say this to the glory of God, I've never traveled and paid my ticket before. So if I say I'm traveling and the ambassador says that I'm going to pay for you, I was supposed to go take money from my bank account. But because he or she has paid for me, it has equalized.
That's delayed gratification.
That's it.
And people don't understand that sometimes you have to be with people, learn, get on the journey. Just allow yourself, flow with the tides.
That's
and
what
when the time comes, the blessings is plenty.
See, if you're looking at me looking sharp, this shoe was given to me by Legon, free. Wow. This shirt, Smart Trends from Kofodia, given to me free. Probably I was supposed to use money to buy, but I've gotten it free because of the work I'm doing. They say, Kobby, Charlie, you're doing amazing. Please come to the office. Come and pick this. Come and pick this. So the things that you want me to use money to buy, I'm getting them. So why do I even need money? But it doesn't mean that I won't get paid of what I'm doing.
Right.
But the good news is that when you work hard and you impact and place value and people know your worth, they can't come to you. When it's time for business, they can't give you 2 cedis.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
When there's time for the harvest, the harvest time,
you will harvest properly.
Sometimes when I go for events and I see, sometimes they write the money which is due people. And like, Charlie, they'll call you, Kobby. We are giving you this money because of your brand. Or, Charlie, with the respect you are, your impact.
Yeah.
So when you place value on yourself and you sit in the rooms to discuss business, what they'll give to somebody, probably the person has numbers. But guess what? I keep saying that. I want to post your thing so that you go like, Charlie, Kobby Kyei post me on.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie, CNN post me on.
Yeah.
I can tell you, CNN will post and sometimes it's about 200 likes, few likes. But the fact that let's CNN post us right now. Whether we get likes on their page or not, CNN has posted us.
It elevates the brand.
It elevates the brand. People don't care about the likes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, on the face value, it's we Africans or Ghanaians that we are so crazy about likes. It is good to get the likes. However, the content is very important. So I can go to a village or maybe I'll post, David, your donation or your charity. It will not get about 1 million views. But the quality of people who have viewed the thing, Kwame, your friend Kwame said he saw me posted, he asked himself, do I know you?
Yeah.
It has connected.
Yes.
So
yes,
that is the ultimate price to pay. Yeah. Not the plenty. No, it's not about that.
So thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time here. And the many things that we are gonna get together to do. I'm sure it's gonna become great and people are going to benefit from it. So to those of you once again who have not subscribed, who have not downloaded an episode, please subscribe and become part of the family and stay connected.